It's the Daily Doug.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. My friends, it's going to be a special episode. I'm happy that you are here. It is Big Train Day here on the Daily Doug. Last weekend, I had the opportunity to interview Gregory Spotton, Nick DiVirgilio, and Alberto Bravin in person before their second ever concert here in the United States. They have a brand new album out. It is The Likes of Us. I've got it right here on vinyl. It's a beautiful brand new I also have Ingenious Devices in the Underfall Yard. Some great vinyl from Big Train. But it's this new one, The Likes of Us, that is out just within the last week or two. And they are performing a short run of concerts here in the United States before going on the cruise to the Edge, which departs Miami tomorrow with many of the very best progressive rock musicians and bands in the world. And although I wasn't able to swing going on the cruise this time, I'm very thankful for this past weekend. Not only did I get the opportunity to chat with some of the band and see Big Train, but I also got to see Haken play their two 90-minute sets that they are preparing for Cruise to the Edge, and they just ripped it up. So some great music happening here. But let's talk about Big Train. We're going to see about 13 minutes of an interview that I did with our three gentlemen, and I'm also then going to share with you my favorite song from their new album. It's called Love is the Light, and so stay tuned for that. But first, I want to tell you a little bit of backstory about Saturday when this all went down. It was a heck of a day, friends. So it was absolutely pouring rain here in New Jersey all day, and our roads, bless their heart, they can barely handle New Jersey traffic when it's a crystal clear day. So with the rain going, it was an hour and a half to 2 hours of bumper to bumper traffic and really heavy rain. So I was already a bit frazzled by the time I got there. And it was an intimate and old venue, the Williams Center in Rutherford, New Jersey. It was practically falling apart in places too, but it had a lot of old charm, this little hall. And there was this secondary small little hall that almost reminded me of a lecture hall, and that was where I was shown and say, this is where you're going to do your interview. So I very hastily set up my little tripods, and I was just filming with two iPhones. And I was trying out a couple of new little inexpensive lavalier microphones, and they worked pretty well. Thankfully, they didn't catch all of the sound in the room from all of the leaks dripping from the ceiling because it was raining cats and dogs outside. And before I actually got a chance to do that, I got a chance to go visit Holston's in New Jersey, which is where they filmed the very last Sopranos scene, and I got to sit at Tony Soprano's booth. Check my social media if you want to see me sitting where Tony Soprano sat. That was fun. It was only like 12 minutes from the venue, so we had to go over there. And it ended up being a really great day. I had a lovely conversation with Greg and Nick and Alberto, and I am happy to share that interview with y'all now. Hi, everybody. It's the Daily Doug, and I am here in person with 3/7 of Big Train. If we had one more, it would be a coup.
I know, yeah.
Right? They are fresh off of their very first concert in the U.S. ever on the day of your latest release. That was yesterday. How'd that go for y'all?
It was fantastic.
The house, the house that Nick built, right?
I think so. I would say so. Yes. Yeah, it was great. I mean, I was spoiled because I was home. Right. It was we're at the town I live in. Sweetwater definitely took care of us and gave us their performance theater to use and their studios to rehearse in. And it's a small room, but it was packed and very energetic. And we had people flying in from all over the states to see this show. And I think it was a good first impression. Yeah, for sure. All systems firing and everything. You bet. So I guess my question is, what's the first song on the set list tonight? Same as last night, but yeah. They're not going to tell me. Well, I'll tell you. That screws up my second and my third question. You want to know? Yeah. If Folklore is the first. Folklore is the first one. All right, excellent. So y'all are 2 nights here in New Jersey. Yeah.
and I read online that it's going to be a varied program over the few days. Are we going to get to hear all of the new album, or a little bit of a mix of everything throughout the years?
Well, we decided not to focus on the new album for this little run of shows because we felt it was a bit unfair on people. They'd only get a day or two with the recording, and then to sort of present a lot of new material. So, bearing in mind we've not played in the States before, we thought actually let's just play, some of our core tracks. So that's the plan.
Well, the likes of us. Talk about this new album. It was released March 1st, which was yesterday as we're recording this.
Yeah.
All new songs since the last album, or is there some old ones that you've brought back and resurrected?
No, it's all new material. I mean, Alberto joined the band
2022.
And so when we discussed about whether he was going to contribute to the songwriting, I think initially you said, I've got a song here that I think might work for Big Big Train. So that's maybe the oldest song of the album?
Could be, yeah. I mean, I sang Last 11 as the audition.
Yeah.
For the band.
Yeah, so we had
like a couple of songs
that were written
there. Yeah. But it was like demos.
Yeah. Sure. So it was stuff that is work in progress rather than
wonderful. Well, the latest song that I've heard off the new album is "The Likes of Us," and or no, that's the name of the album. "Love is the Light." I need to make sure I got my notes right.
Yeah.
And my wife was really hoping to come tonight, but she wasn't feeling well, and she wanted me to personally say thank you for that song. She's had it on repeat ever since.
It's a great song.
It's wonderful.
Oh my God!
It's one of yours.
Yeah, it is.
Excellent.
Oh, so glad.
And we'll be hearing that one this evening.
Tonight? All right. Well, you heard it here first, friends. That's going to be a really fun time. I realized, I became a fan of the band just as all of the negative things, with David's passing, happened. And it was a really difficult thing for me getting to learn all of the past stuff and then coming to terms with where the band was at the current time. Ingenious Devices was a brilliant move last year, with some songs that were important in the canon of the band and some new things. Talk about the development of that project and how that all came together, especially working at Abbey Road, right?
Yeah, of course.
So
I mean,
cool. That was great.
It was really cool, wasn't it? I mean, our budgets have increased over the years, and I think when we were doing English Electric back in the day, we were using a string quartet, and we were just doing it in small studios. And for size, we would double them up or have 8 players. But when we came to do some of the later albums, some of the longer tracks, we were able to get to Abbey Road and have a 17-piece string section, which was just an amazing experience. Absolutely jaw-dropping. Because these guys are, this world. I mean, they'll see the music on the day and
nail it.
They just nail it. Yeah, I mean, there'd be 1 or 2 run-throughs and then suddenly just bang. So
it's amazing.
It's quite exciting.
Yeah, one of the things that I learned as a composer, and I did 3 degrees in that, was to make the music as approachable to these musicians as you can, even if you have complicated ideas, because a lot of times they're only going to get 1 or 2 looks at it before they're expected to play things down.
Possibly where we have made it hard, because some of our stuff, even in classical terms, in time signature wise, can be a little bit tricky for people. But no, so basically what happened is we went back to a couple of the earlier tracks, like East Coast Racer, that hadn't had the full string section, and we retro-fitted them. And made sure that they had the full bells and whistles. And we also had recorded one of the tracks with Alberto live. So we thought
that was kind of cable, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we thought a sort of crossover release to try and help us through that transition period.
It was just the time that a fan like myself needed to mourn and pay tribute, but also to see where the band was headed.
Yeah.
And then now with The Likes of Us, it's a fresh, emotional album. Talk about the personal nature of writing these songs and choosing to talk about things that you've been confronted with for the last few years.
Yeah, none of us felt we could really. I mean, our reputation is as a storytelling band, and often history and stuff like that, which we love writing about, and we will go back to writing about, I'm sure. But for this album, because of the things that happened to us, because of the loss of David, I also lost my stepfather. Alberto had been through a particularly difficult time in his life as well. So we'd all experienced a lot, and it didn't feel really true to ourselves to write about anything other than, our feelings, I suppose, or for
about what
personal stories.
what you've experienced.
Yeah, personal stories.
Right.
So that was that's the main theme of the album, and there's a bit of storytelling on there as well. There's one song,
Miramar,
based in Alberto.
I need to get the Italian.
Right? Well, that it's still personal because it is. I mean, it's a place and it's a castle in my city, and it's part of my childhood. So I mean, it's still a personal memory and a personal story.
The Maximilian and Carlotta, right?
Yes.
Their love story, right?
Yeah, it is a love story. Underneath it, it's a tragic story.
For sure.
It's a crazy end of empire sort of story, but at the core, it's a love story.
Yeah. So is that the place where y'all gathered as a band to record?
Yeah.
The wording that I've seen makes a point of how you were able to gather like that. It makes me think that that's something that has not been the case in past years.
Not in recent years, no. Because I mean,
I always recorded from the States and sent tracks over. Let me step back.
Yeah.
Early days when I first joined the band, I would record it. Our front of house engineer Rob Aubrey, who mixes the records.
And you did some at Real World. We did a
few things at Real World. That's true. That's true.
We've done a few things,
but I think the bulk of the stuff, we never were really in the room, coming up with the ideas and bouncing things off of each other like that before.
And so in the room this time, there was some arranging and, I like that. I like that.
Exactly that.
Why don't you try this? Oh, that was cool. I never thought of that before, that kind of stuff. And it really made the camaraderie part of making a record together so cool.
The cohesion of the sounds, it really does come through in the new record. Well, you guys are on this little trip through the States before you go on the cruise into international waters, Cruise to the Edge. Is that when you're going to have the brass ensemble back with you?
And Buffalo as well.
That'll
be like their warm-up gig.
That's a long drive for me. I'd love to hear the brass. It's one of the things that first drew me to the band. Because you've got solo artists, duets, 3 pieces, the standard 4-piece band, and y'all are a 7-person plus brass. Who does all the arrangements for those things?
So we have a trumpet player called Dave Desmond, who was in the Coldstream Guards in the UK, and Rob, our sound engineer, introduced him to us. He's brilliant. He's got a very musical ear, and he just basically the instruction I gave to him was we wanted it to sound like a colliery band, a kind of Northern English kind of traditional sound, and he understood exactly what that meant, and arranged our material for many years.
But what's also cool about Dave is that he has that in his playing for sure because he did it, but he also plays like in a Steely Dan cover band and does all kinds of pop and R&B things too. So he knows how to funk things, and he can pull out Tower of Power arrangements and stuff like that too. So he can add a little bit of that flavor into making these horn arrangements, which
that's for the encore,
which adds a little hipness to it all.
Well, this is a kind of a new adventure for Big Train, and I wish the best for y'all as you continue on. I'm not going to ask you what's next because this is what's next,
pretty much,
right? Yeah. So, tell me about how it's been just waiting to unleash the likes of us to your public. What's it's been a while, right? And what's the reaction and the support been so far? Like, do you have any favorites people have said, or?
Well, I think the singles were well received.
Yeah,
I mean, from
Oblivion is great.
Oh yeah,
that one.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, Love is the Light. That's the one, at least so far. That's really got me. You know what was one of my favorite of all of last year? It was Voyager off of the new one. Talk about a story song. You know, it's wonderful when bands talk about and write about things that we can really dive into as music lovers. Oh, Mike, hello. As music lovers, as people that are interested about the world around us. It's not all, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's real emotionally driven, human-centered music. And I just wanted to thank y'all for doing that. And I wish you all the best with the likes of us, their 15th studio album. Can't believe it's 15. It's been a hell of a go. And I hope to get a chance to interview all of y'all when it's the 20th studio album. I can't wait to see what's on for that. I'm not going to take up too much more of their time because they have been gracious to sit with me here before they play their first show ever in New Jersey. Be careful, I was just at the Sopranos house. Actually, one of our good friends in the Daily Doug, the last scene from the Sopranos, their family owns that.
Nice.
So we were just there.
Fantastic.
I'll show you pictures. It was really wonderful. And so we've got lots of friends here, and we're here to hear your music and enjoy it. And we're going to have a great time tonight. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much.
This time.
Thank you,
and thank you all.
They're such great people, aren't they? It was a fun conversation, and like I said, I didn't want to take up too much of their time because they had driven all night from Indiana the night before, where they did their very first concert in the United States, and they were getting ready to go there, and I just was blessed to be able to have that time with them. So thank y'all for being with me. The concert itself, let me tell you about my concert experience. It was one of my favorite concerts in quite some time. The kudos to the person who was running sound, because he had a bunch of instruments to mix with these guys. There were 7 band members on stage, and they are a musician's band, y'all. All 7 players on the stage played multiple instruments. Alberto Bravin, he was on lead vocals and just ripped it up. Awesome on lead vocals. He also played guitar, and he had his own keyboard. Nick DiVirgilio, who we just heard from, he's our drummer, right? He also did vocals, great vocals from Nick, and he played guitar on a beautiful rendition of a David Longdon song called Telling the Bees, which he performed with Ricard. And that was a very special moment. Oscar, our keyboardist, had 2 different keyboards that he was playing all night, and he was on vocals. Claire played violin. She was on the guitar. She was on keyboards, and she was on vocals. Amazing stuff from Claire. Ricard played guitar, and then at some points, he'd sling his guitar like over his shoulder and turn and be playing some synths and keyboards. Unbelievable stuff, and he was on vocals as well. Gregory Spotton on the bass. He also was playing Moog bass pedals, which just shook the place. It was so cool to hear those Moog pedals. And he also played the 12-string acoustic guitar on a few songs. Dave Foster was not with the band, but they had a lovely guest musician who played trumpet and keyboards, and I can't remember his name. I didn't catch his name there at the time. They played a lovely set. They only played 1 song from their new album. So they, for their very first run of shows in the United States, they gave their United States fans some really great just assortment of songs from throughout their discography. And my personal favorites from the set, the first rebreather, the Florentine, I love that song, y'all. The Florentine was great. East Coast Racer, Victorian Brickwork was the encore, and it was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And like I said, the sound wasn't too loud. It was just like Grandma's porridge. Everybody could be heard. Everything fit just right. And the song that I was talking about with the band in the interview, Love is the Light, is their latest single, and that's the song from their new album that I want to share with y'all today. I have heard it, so it's not a first-time listen. I've got my keyboard. I can't help it. I'm going to play along. Sue me, friends. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. Alberto was a main songwriter for this one, and it's just gorgeous. So let's take a look at the brand new single, Love is the Light, from Big Big Train. Off we go. Immediately with violin and acoustics, and it's just warm.
Crashing and crushing, I don't know what to do. I know I may fall once again. Maybe I'm gonna break.
Start with a G.
Maybe I'm calling time. In my mind, it's like I'm fading away.
So they've got those two chords mostly going back and forth. And the G is acting as our starting point here, but it's not the one chord. It's 4 to 5. So we're starting on
I
subdominant,
could be washed ashore.
already on our journey.
Out at sea. I'm looking for a way that leads me home.
Beautiful horn in the background, brass.
Drifting and drowning, all but out of reach. I'm a victim of my own design. Love is the light, hiding in the corner of my eye. Love is your Here with our broken wings, it's so hard to believe. It's hard to we could learn to fly together again. This is not the end. We can be strong and make new. Take each day as it comes and find a way through. Love is your smile. Between a fight and a lullaby, love is the
Get a little mellotron coming in here. There, finally the one chord. The major 4. Open, 1 major 7. One thing I noticed when I heard them in person is just how big the pocket is when Nick drums. There were several people air drumming just with me. Beautiful. 1 major 7. Violin, the beautiful brass instrument. There you hear the bass pedal. just want it to keep on going. I just want it to keep on going. It's a beautiful song, isn't it? Here with our broken wings, it's so hard to believe that we can learn to fly together again. Think about the people that are writing this and what they've been through when this song was written. This is not the end. We can be strong and made new to each day as it comes and find a way through. Love is your smile. Between a fight and a lullaby, love is the light. Love is the way forward. I love it. I love it. Over these almost 750 episodes here on YouTube, I've come to know the music of so many musicians and bands, and I've developed personal connections with some of them. But I love this band. I love these humans, friends. Their music is consistently heartfelt. It's deep. It's connected to their understanding of this life and their observations of the world around us and of their experiences. And it's offered humbly and sincerely. And you can hear it and you can feel it when you're in the room with them. Their music is melodic, it's warm, it's uplifting, it's life-affirming. It's a companion for me. I can't say enough about it. I want desperately for more people to know their music, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this episode. I feel like I've come to know these people through their music. And now meeting them in person has only solidified my understanding of them as people and as musicians. And like I said, they put on a show that I will not soon forget. It was a beautiful, beautiful evening. And we touched on it a little bit in the interview after the untimely and tragic passing of David Longdon, who was a singular person, and I wish I could have been able to meet him, and a singular musician, it seems like. You know, in this time, since that happened, you know, they were supposed to come to the United States in 2020. That ended up not happening because of the pandemic. And then David passed and they had other issues. You know, they've grown through this experience and they've come out the other side, I think, as new people, as we all have, right? And they are embracing David's memory by forging ahead with Alberto. And this new album is as good as anything that I've heard from them throughout their discography, friends. It's a special connection that they have with each other and that they have with their fans. And I just had a great time getting to meet them and talk with them and experience their music live and in person. The album, The Likes of Us, is already, in my opinion, the album to beat in 2024. It'll for sure be on my best of list. And I can't wait to meet them again and see them again in concert. I almost want to fly down to Miami today, even though I hate flying, so that I could try to bum a ticket and get on the cruise and just sit in the back row and just soak it all up. But maybe that'll be sometime in the future for a future cruise or a future opportunity to again meet and commune with Big Big Train, the people and their music. They're wonderful. And if you haven't heard a lot from this band, I encourage you to take them out for a stroll. They won't disappoint you. Thanks, guys, for being with me and for listening. This has been a lot of fun for me, and I can't wait for more from Big Big Train, but that is all for today, my friends. Thanks for being with me, and we'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.